1 point from the previous 2 games against Shelbourne and Longford Town left Bohemians realistically needing maximum points from the remaining 3 league games. With Kevin Hunt suspended and Thomas Heary injured, Bohs received some good news when top scorer Glenn Crowe was past fit to play. The game was strangely subdued for almost 25 minutes before the first real effort on goal. Andy Myler's free kick tipped away for a corner by Shay Kelly. Damien Lynch tried his luck from long range on 27 minutes but didn't trouble Gary Rogers. 11 minutes later, Dave Morrison had a much better opportunity, but the header from a Bobby Ryan cross was again off target. Late in the first half, Declan O'Brien and Barry Malloy combined, but again Kelly saved well. The Bohemians keeper was called into action again early in the second half. John Flanagan, Declan O'Brien and Andy Myler all involved in the build-up before Kelly produced a fine save from Mark Quinless. Bohs had a penalty claim turned down on 54 minutes from Simon Webb's long pass. The ball appeared to strike the arm of Dom Tierney. A little over a minute later, Drogheda were in front. Gary Cronin's corner was initially headed away by Colin Hawkins, but the danger was not fully cleared. Andy Myler's pass found Declan O'Brien, who produced a quality finish to move Drogheda a step closer to safety and leave Bohs' title challenge on the brink of collapse. Bohs won a corner soon after, but Drogheda quickly turned from defence into attack in a move which almost resulted in the second goal. Aidan Lynch had cleared the corner before Mark Quinless ran almost the entire length of the field before finding Barry Malloy with his pass. Kelly blocked at the expense of a corner. From the resulting corner, Drogheda's lead was doubled, Bohs again failing to clear, and Gary Cronin's shot was over the line before Simon Webb made contact with the ball. With news of Shell's 2-0 lead at Tulka Park making its way to Drogheda, Bohemians were now needing a minor miracle to stay in contention for a second successive league title. Sub Paul Keegan was unable to provide some hope from a tight angle. Keegan did have the ball in the Drogheda net soon after, but did so from an offside position. Bohs were continuing to ask questions of the Drogheda defenders. Stephen Gray needed to clear off the line with Glenn Crowe lurking. And the final chance of the game fell to Drogheda. Again, Shay Kelly saving well to prevent Gary Cronin from scoring his second goal of the evening. 2-0 finish to Drogheda. Joy for the home supporters, disappointment for the travelling fans. Emotions shared by the two managers.
Well, at one stage in the season we were struggling. We managed to put a terrific run together, which, you know, we won 13, drew 2 out of 16, and in fact went a point in front. Probably unlucky to lose the Shells last week. And in the end, overall, we've qualified for Europe, which is very, very important. We wouldn't take that for granted. We need to do that in full time. You need the revenue from European football. So we've finished second. We've beaten Bate Borisov this year in Europe, who are top, excellent side. Beat them 3-0. There's progress in that regard. But overall, Shelbourne were better defensively than us and could battle out matches, win matches 1-0 when they needed to. And I think, you know, fair play to them, it's their year. We're disappointed a little bit, even though we've come second. And as I say, last year was my first year. We won the title in our first year. I finished second this year. You know, but with the club that's here, Bohemians, you'd be looking to try and win the league. So from that point of view, I'm disappointed. But overall, we probably conceded too many goals this year to win the league.
To win was probably what you're looking for, but the way we won was absolutely excellent. You know, I think I wouldn't say there's too many teams that kept Bohs to a clean sheet this year, and I thought this evening that we could have probably had maybe 3 or 4. Shay Kelly was magnificent, but I mean, I'm not going to crow about it. You know, I think Bohs, in fairness to them, have been the yardstick for everybody to go by in the last few years, and it's probably the likes of Bohs and Shells this year, you know, who are league champions now, that we've got to try and drag ourselves up and try and progress, and that's the way the club have been. You know, to be fair to the people that have taken over, they've got the house in order and the club is going grand. And I think they asked me at the start when I was being interviewed for the job, what would I like? eventually in the job, and I explained to them what I wanted if I kept them in the Premier Division. So I've kept my side of the bargain, so they said they'll keep their side as well.
I'm sure when you took the job, I mean, you're hoping that Drogheda won't just be a club who is hoping to survive every year, looking for something beyond that.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, Dave, now I would never say too much about myself or give myself too much credit. But what I would have to say about myself and Thomas Dunn and Jody Byrne, it wasn't an easy job to take, because as I said before, there's a lot of clever people in League of Ireland football who probably would have said, no, let them get relegated, rather than take the challenge and have that pressure, or have that well, pressure's probably the word, because as I said, no one ever gives you a job when you're second in the league. And you know, like as a player, I'd never say anything about my ability, but what I would always say is that I would have good character. And I think probably from the time that I come in here, I would have tried to get that into the players, that you can have all the ability, but there's a lot of things you need to go with that. And I think probably in the latter half of the last 2 months, the players have been excellent. You know, I think the poorest performance we've had has probably been the UCD game, which sort of dragged us back into it and left it. But to come up tonight and play the way we played, I mean, I thought they were absolutely excellent.